Championships are only the beginning. Dynasty Road.
Hey, this is EFO and welcome back to Dynasty Road. Today we have another video with a player profile, and this one we're going to be doing is Kenny Pickett. Out of the 2 or 3 quarterbacks that I think, in my opinion anyway, that could actually be decent and give you some genuinely good playing time and some good fantasy value going into the season, I think Pickett could be one of those guys. It also depends on really where he kind of lands. Obviously, that will help him. If he's just a backup this year, that could hurt some things. But you see him as high as pick number 6 going to the Giants in some mock drafts, or falling down into the teens and the 20s. And what a lot of people hope is that he goes right to the Pittsburgh Steelers now that Roethlisberger has retired, considering that he played all his home games right there in Heinz Field. So he knows how to play there. He's used to that environment. He'll be very comfortable there. And his skill set really would help the Pittsburgh Steelers as well, with their wide receivers and their running backs and the tight end. He'd have a lot of weapons to be able to throw to. He doesn't have one of the greatest arms. He doesn't have a rocket, a big cannon for an arm where you're just going to be out there slinging it. But he has a decent enough arm. He has mobility that he can make plays on the run a little bit. He's not going to be Kyle Murray out there running around, or Mahomes out there running around doing a lot of things with his legs, but he can definitely keep the play moving, play developing. And I think with those wide receivers in Pittsburgh, that give him those chance with Claypool and Washington and Johnson and even the running back, I think it'll really help with someone a little bit more mobility. But again, that's just if he makes it that far. Again, he's going as high as 6 to the Giants. So, are they really already, the Giants really already ready to move on from Jones? That's a tough call. But like I said, this one we're going to be talking about Pickett a little bit. We discussed him a little so far. And just, he played 5 seasons at Pittsburgh, started 4 of them. He came in when he was an 18-year-old freshman, the last game of the 2017 season. They only won 5 games, and they went against the number 2 team in the league, at number 2 team in college, and they won. They beat them. And so that was a huge win for them, and that kind of showed you what Pickett would probably be doing, and he just improved on that year after year. He didn't have the greatest collegiate career, I would say, as you look at some of his numbers, but last season he really did put it together. He jumped up. You think about year 2018, 2019, middle of the road kind of quarterback with his passing, and 13 and 3, 13 and 3. 2018, 12 and 6 for touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns in 2020, 9 interceptions, 9 interceptions, 6 interceptions in 2018. So, but then you come all of a sudden 2021, where he's the ACC player of the offensive player of the year. He throws for 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. They go 11 and 2, I think it was, this year. Ready to go to a bowl game, but obviously didn't play because he had declared for the draft. But just really put everything together. And the kid's only 23 years old. He'll be 24 when the season starts. He's improved as he's been in Pittsburgh. He's developed as a quarterback. He has those leadership qualities that you want to see from your field general. He is the guy that I don't know if he'd come in and just be able to take over right away and just pick up the game I think there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises and learning curves. Just, I mean, you think about just Mac Jones. I mean, I think he had the best situation in what he went through as a rookie. And I don't think Kenny Pickett is going to go to any kind of those places that is, unless he does go to Pittsburgh. Maybe he goes to Denver, um, where they have, but they just hired a new coach. So there's ups and downs there. But I think if he does go to Pittsburgh, I think that's a solid organization. He could do good, but he's going to be a rookie, and he wouldn't be as polished as some of these guys that just came out. Lawrence and Fields and Lance and Jones and those guys that just came out this year. He's not going to be there that polished. He's still learning and he's still developing, and he had a great season. His senior year, he had a great season, and he'll continue to improve on that. But now, will those intangibles, will those leadership, will those recognitions, those reads and reacts, where he's going up against better defenders, better defensive lines. Can't just pick on that one cornerback, who's 18 years old and fresh out of high school, and you can just pick on him. No, you're going up against guys who've been in the league, even if they're rookies that you're going up against. They made it to the NFL for a reason. So I think he's going to have a little bit of a challenge wherever he goes. But I think if he does go to like a Denver, if he does go to Pittsburgh, I think he could actually thrive. And I think he could be a good, not only short-term fantasy, but a dynasty player, like someone that you could considerably think about having him. I don't think he'd ever get to quarterback 1, but could he be quarterback 2 on your league? In our league, we have a super flex 2 quarterbacks, so you could actually play 3 quarterbacks. Could I see him in the super flex, in my super flex spot when I have 2 other quarterbacks going? Yeah, I could definitely see him, especially as the season progresses, and if he's in the right situation. I think that would really help him. So, I mean, when you're looking at it from a dynasty perspective, yeah, I could definitely see him in that super flex spot certain weeks, especially with matchups and just as he matures as a quarterback and reading the defenses and getting a feel for the NFL game. I think, he's going to be someone that I don't know if you want to spend your first round rookie draft pick on. I mean, like number 1 pick overall. I don't know if you want to spend that on him. I think there's some wide receivers that offer a lot more upside than Penny Pickett. But I mean, if you're unless you're very desperate, unless you had Roethlisberger and a couple of other guys, Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady was your 4 quarterbacks. Yeah, maybe you are taking him with your first pick, number 1 overall, if you happen to have that, and that was your situation. But 4th pick, 5th pick in the rookie draft, yeah, I could see him. Maybe even 3rd. Yeah, you get those wide receivers first, and once those guys goes off the board, yeah, Kenny Pickett and a couple of other those quarterbacks, why not go for them? Like I said, in my mind, there's about 3 that depending on the situation, not even that much, but I think that they could actually help you especially in a super flex, in a dynasty format where you could use them and probably give you a few years. Like I said, I don't think they'll ever get to player number one. But I mean, he's 23 years old. He's 6 feet 3 inches. I mean, he's got some size to him. 220 pounds. I mean, he's a big boy. Maybe a little bit bigger. I'd like to see, but a little bit taller. Be able to see over those offensive linemen and defensive linemen. But he's going to be some mobility. He's going to be able to run a little bit. And he showed that in college. He's not going to be a rusher like Malik Willis or even a Sam Howell, but I think, in his career, he's done pretty decent for himself in rushing. Um, he can, he doesn't hesitate to take off in rushing in his college career. I mean, yeah, he only did about 233 yards, which doesn't seem like a lot, but, when he's averaging about 2.4 yards a rush and 3 yards, only 98 times. It's not great, but he's not shying from that. He's taken that advantage. He's taken what the defense gives him. And one of the things that really does help him is in college, he was known for someone who really took his time and looked through his progressions. And in the NFL game, that is what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to go through your progressions and quickly. I mean, I could sit there and read a defense and go through progressions, but, if I don't have the ball out by, 2 seconds, they forget it. And I couldn't do that. But having him go through his progressions, having the ability to be able to dump it off to the tight end, taking what the defense gives you, you're hearing that more and more with the NFL and the offense. It's like, yeah, you can gun it out there and you can throw it, but taking what the defense gives you. And I think that Pickett is going to be one of those guys, especially it's going to help him to develop as a freshman, as a rookie, help him to develop into the game, taking what the defense gives him. It's okay to throw the ball away. You don't take the sacks. Don't force the ball and throw interceptions. Those are what's going to hurt you. I think what we've seen from the successful quarterbacks, taking what the defense gives you, go for your shots when you have that opportunity. Don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over. You don't turn the ball over, you have a really good chance of winning. Yes, you might not put up 400 yards and get your name on the highlight reels and everything like that, but you're going to be a consistent quarterback. You're going to be a good quarterback, and I think Kenny Pickett has that opportunity to be able to do that. And if he goes to the right situation, again, a team that he can definitely build around. The Giants, that's going to be a tough one for him. I think, they have some weapons in place. Obviously, Saquon Barkley would give him a lot of help. Jibbo just hand that ball off to Saquon and run it up and down the field. But I think the Giants really need an offensive line more than they need a quarterback right now. I think any quarterback that's going to be behind there would be just destroyed. So I think with Kenny Pickett, I think you're going to see him be a good quarterback. I think some of the places that he could end up, it's a unique season where there's a lot of half-decent teams out there that aren't complete destruction. I think a lot of them got their quarterback last year. So some of these guys that are coming into the league this year, it's like, you think of Detroit, but, even they have some weapons and they're building a good offensive line, a nice running back, some wide receiver threats, a tight end threat, so they have some weapons. They need defense. So I think even with these not that highly rated quarterbacks that are coming into the league this season, I think there's a lot of good landing spots for rookie quarterbacks that aren't going to be the greatest, because guess what? I think you're also going to see a lot of guys come into the league who are, I think you're going to see a lot of veteran quarterbacks moving around too and backups. So why not go for these guys? Why not look at Kenny Pickett? Why not look at Carson Strong? Why not look at Malik Willis? Why not look at these guys where you can see the potential there? And I think Kenny Pickett is, I'd say he's the number 2 quarterback off the board in this year's draft. I don't really see him going number 1. I see other quarterbacks going number 1, but I think Kenny Pickett has the skills. I think he has the understanding of the game. I think he has the arm strength, the mobility to help a team win, and I think he can actually help your fantasy dynasty league not only this year, but in a couple of years, a few more years down the road as he progresses. I think he can be someone who, 3 or 4 years from now, I think we're still talking about Kenny Pickett as a starter and as a good quarterback 2, quarterback 3 kind of player. So those are my thoughts on Kenny Pickett. A little rundown of him and a little rant on some other things. But let me know what you think about Kenny Pickett. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Always, if you like the content that we're making, me and Jordo, take a second to hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to be putting more of these videos out on a weekly basis. So until the next one, have a good one. See ya.